Wednesday morning. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. We can see that the overnight session has been pretty balanced, sitting basically inside the range of yesterday. We've got the low down here. Let me scooch this up a little bit. So we've got yesterday's low down here, putting in that excess, and then we have the high from today, or the high from yesterday, a little bit up here off screen. Overnight high, overnight low, sitting right inside yesterday's range. We do have value moving a little bit higher here when we're looking at the overnight session. I'm not really tracking the value, but just something that I'm noticing kind of early on. We're having a fairly wide point of control here, and if the market rotates during this last 30-minute period back down to this level here, around that 39.96 level, you'll have that point of control there as well, or they'll both be 12 TPOs wide. All right, so that's just kind of showing that we're seeing at least time getting spent. We haven't really seen the volume shift up, but we are seeing the time get spent up there. Just something key to note. And I mean, today really what I'm looking for is if we don't get a correction of overnight inventory, right? Overnight inventory for the most part is pretty much long, right? We do have some volume down here, but there is for the most part, everything is above the settle from yesterday. And so with that, and we have a wide point of control, we'll look to see if there's a correction of overnight inventory. Any correction of overnight inventory that doesn't make it all the way back down to this point of control, or at least to this level here, would show weakness from sellers, and the target would immediately become that Globex high prior day low, T2 low. Okay. With that distribution here from the B period yesterday, those single prints that were left behind from yesterday, I'll be looking for the market to kind of fill those in. That's where we could see a responsive seller above yesterday's value, looking to hold these single prints. Like I said, I don't think if they don't push this thing back down to this Globex point of control, or even down to this 96 level, that I'm looking for that 40-20 level. There is opportunity above that, as I think we could see some weak shorts that were short from the 50 SMA yesterday start to get squeezed out, and they would target the previous day's point of control or previous day's value area low at that 40.32. We did have a lot of single prints on the high yesterday, as it looked to be sold right off of the point of control of yesterday, and so that would be the target should there be any upside. We do need to pay attention to some Chicago PMI reports that come out about 15 minutes after the market opens. And then also we'll be looking for those oil reports that come out at 10 o'clock. There is going to be some news today. I'm just pulling it up now. But the oil inventory reports are at 10:30, excuse me. And then that's pretty much it for the most part. And then Fed Bostic is on tonight, so that could be pretty moving. One thing I did want to share is this Fed funds rate tool. Here it is here. So we can see that the probabilities of a 3/4 point raise, or a 75 basis point raise, is increasing. So last week it was about 58%, yesterday is 71, today it's 72. So we're seeing it go up. That's typically not good for the market. You can see the dollar's kind of up right here, but most of the market is actually doing pretty well right now, so nothing really too crazy. But I mean, for the most part, they're pricing in, you can see 72% to 28% here. They're pricing in that 3/4 point raise. That's just something to note. Morning, Adam. Morning, Uncle Stacy. just something to note, right, and to be aware of as we get into the day. You know that a lot of people are kind of assuming that we're going to see some tightening. There, what looks like in something. Good morning, Peter. Something I heard yesterday from one of the White House representatives is that she said that there's going to be an announcement this week. So if we do see an announcement on Thursday telling people, you know, oh well, you know, it's nothing to worry about, because if we remember right, Friday we have that non-farm payrolls coming out, and then the unemployment rate. So if they get on the news on Thursday and start talking about, you know, don't be alarmed because the unemployment rate's high and blah 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 blah, to me that just kind of tells us that we probably should be a little bit, or at least a early indication sign that the market might trade down on Friday. Not saying that it's going to, just that it's a possibility. Yesterday, if we just do a little review of yesterday, we've got some time this morning. I was able to get on fairly early today. So yesterday, if we do a little review here, for the most part, it looked to be liquidation, right? A little hesitation. And so I want you guys to think about it like this. Imagine if you're planning on selling, right? You're telling yourself, okay, if we break the previous day's low, I'm gonna have to sell some of my. If you're an institutional investor, I'm gonna have to sell some of my shares, right? And so where do I wanna sell them? I want to sell them at the best price. So anytime the market pops up, I want to sell them. So it looked like they got an opportunity yesterday to sell them on this 50 SMA, right? The 50 SMA was a little bit different yesterday. I think it was at like the 9 or something, but you know, they got an opportunity to sell on that 50 SMA because retail traders were buying the 50 SMA. So if you're an institutional investor, all of a sudden all these, you know, smaller buyers are right here, of course you're going to just sell some right here, which is why the market came down, hesitated, and then eventually broke, right? We saw that on the breath yesterday. Market came down, the breath got back to about a 3-to-1, and then all of a sudden on the increase on the way down, like we talked about, if we see an increase on the way down, we want to be careful. You got that big liquidation in C, which put a low in, and then the market came up, more selling, new low, excess, market came up, and then we saw selling into the close. So the key here really is just to decide, or to try to decipher, is the selling over? Is this liquidation over? Or are we going to get some new money selling, right? And so that will be determined really based off of yesterday's value. If we're above yesterday's value and we start to see strong moves come in, especially in the T2 value, we'll look to see if these sellers are going to continue this thing going down, right? Like I said, the key is, to me, for that 40-80, for the market to try to reclaim this 40-80 on this look below. If we move over to the daily chart here, whoa, oops, made it like as big as the screen. So if we move over to the daily chart here, we can see, for the most part, right, we've just had this big liquidation look into this previous balance. So now we're kind of a breakout of the previous balance. We're looking below into this balance here. So looking for acceptance or rejection. And really the thing that's going to determine if we, unless we get stuck in kind of purgatory, no man's land here, it would be a break above that 40-80 and to hold that 40-80 if the market wants to continue higher. Failure to do that, the market may balance here and then continue down, or the market may just reject and can complete and look to target this 39.13 quarter. I think it's 13.50. See, 13.50. Yes, the 726 low is 13.50. So, and you can see we do have a couple levels below, right? This level here is that 54.50. The point of control from here is that 29, and then the low is that 13. It's actually 13 quarter. 13 quarter. So some levels below. If the market breaks below this Globex point of control and below the settle, I think that will probably be the target. We can see yesterday's point of control was about the same spot, and so that would, to me, basically just bring us down to those levels. It would make sense as that would be the target there. Taking a peek around the block real quick, we can see the dollar is up in the overnight session, but back inside yesterday's range, so opening up in some balance. The Australian dollar is really opening up back on the low after getting sold off yesterday. The euro, right, still doing shit, even broke the low during Globex. Bitcoin back at 20,000 after looking back below. Like I said, this 20,000 has really been acting as a strong magnet. Just, every time it breaks above, it snaps back to it. Every time it breaks below, it snaps back to it. So, definitely something to watch if it starts to fade away from that 20,000 level for too long, right? Just be careful of getting long around those edges or getting short around the lows, as we've kind of seen. Bitcoin may be finding a level that it likes. So just something to know. Oil took a bath yesterday, trading down about 4%, and then took another bath overnight. You can see just in the past 2 days, oil has dropped from peak to trough about 7%, trading down still about right now, about 5% off of yesterday's high. So pretty decent size move there. Gold got sold off again as well. Gold trading down here about 1%, which is a fairly decent move for gold there. Apple is moving up. You can see it kind of looks like it might be opening up on a gap here. See that prior day's open is still up at 162, so we'll look to see if it can reclaim yesterday's open. Remember, we bought some calls down here yesterday when the market was trading down in the gap. It actually did end up trading a little bit lower, but wasn't able to close the gap, so I did hold the calls. And hopefully today we can get some continuation to the upside and see some continuation. Let me add the prior close to this. I don't know why I didn't save. Oh, I know why I didn't save, because my power went out yesterday while I was trading. It was unfortunate. Prior day close. Okay. So now we got the prior day close marked in pink, and then the prior day's open marked in green. Or it'll be current day because it'll switch to today. Let me go ahead and post this real quick before I forget. All right. AMD trading inside yesterday's range, tried to do a little peak above and then got sold off pretty hard. This is probably off the basis of the Taiwan news. I don't know if any of you guys have really heard about the news that's going on in Taiwan, right? They fired some missiles, active missiles for the first time. They've never really done that before, and so that's kind of a big news coming out of them. So just something that we definitely want to be paying attention to with the chip makers. Amazon here trading up pretty decently, really carved out a bottom yesterday and wasn't able to break that initial low that it had put in. That was kind of the key that we might see a little bit of a reversal, even though the rest of the market looked pretty weak. And that was on the back of Tesla, right? Tesla looked really weak yesterday, pretty much making new lows for the better part of the day, but now kind of backing up and opening up above its close. Seeing Google here really starting to catch some upside. You can see the move off of the low from yesterday to the high from today, already looking up about 3% and above yesterday's open already. So Google being the leader of the pack today. Meta even strong as well. You can see big move on Meta. That's something that I was looking at pre-market, right? And you can see Meta really gaining some steam. Zuckerberg must have heard me talking shit. Up about 6.5% early on in today's session. Microsoft doing well as well. Microsoft a little bit weaker than the rest of the pack. Netflix still doing okay, bouncing off of that low. The triple Q a little bit weaker, but still making that high. TNX doing okay, really just kind of trading basically in the same range here. The VIX has come down. Something that a lot of people are talking about as well is if we switch this to the daily chart, you can see basically back when we made these major lows, you know, when we have these high on 5-2 and then in March and then in the end of January, we'll switch over here to the ES real quick so we can see it. So here's this January low, and then you had the March low, and then you had that May low, and then the June low. And so with the VIX, you're not really seeing this huge spike indicating that, you know, we're at the low, or necessarily that the market's going to go lower, right? You had these huge volatility spikes, which is people buying puts, right? So this is measuring 30-day volatility. So people buying puts, not as many people buying puts on this move down. Oh, what the fuck? Headphones are crazy. I'm like, oh shit, scared the fuck out of me. And so you're not just seeing that just yet, right? Not saying that it's not going to happen, but just something to at least take note of, right? We definitely want to always maintain perspective, and something that I'm kind of just keeping an eye on early on. So today, as we're getting close here to the open, we've got about 8 minutes. Make sure we watch the breadth, right? Typically this breadth, in my opinion, is probably going to open up pretty positive. We're seeing a lot of stuff trading up early on here. And we're even getting a pretty wide POC up here at the top, right? We've got 10 TPOs here, 10, 11 here, and 12 here. So fairly large amount of time spending here back inside these B single prints. And like I said, I think this 50 SMA is a weak spot. So any buying early on, probably target this distribution high at the 40-20. The key is to watch the open and see if there's a correction to overnight inventory. Any failure to correct overnight inventory probably gives us an opportunity to take the market back to the upside. If the market does start to correct overnight inventory and start to trade lower, you know, I don't necessarily think there's a trade there. I think the probabilities to just wait. We're opening inside balance, so the market's probably going to be a bit choppy, and you might have to wait a little bit until we see the first trade set up there. Let's go ahead and play some Reveille and get this thing started. Jason Taylor, yo, 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 what's up, man? All right, I'm pumped. Hopefully you guys are pumped. Morning, Dr. VJ. Morning, Roach.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, Dad. Yeah. All right, we've got about 5 minutes until the market's up. Any question or opens up until if we have any questions, let me know. But now's the time to kind of lock in your trade plans, prepare for the day. Hopefully we can continue to see Apple moving on, moving on. What?
It's our switch.
LFG, get this big bag. JB, good morning. All right, I'll be right back. Ready for this open. All right, 30 seconds left. Get ready, get ready. Remember, we have a very psychological level here right below us, 4,000. All right, here's the open. So not a correction overnight inventory yet. The market's opening up pretty choppy. So there goes the correction. Okay, so a little bit of a correction. Like I said, we're going to be looking early on. Counts are 39 and 30. Look at the breadth is, it's positive, but not really too crazy. Tech is down. You're seeing the correction of overnight inventory. More selling coming in here. That A high, I would say, is mechanical, right? Right off yesterday's half back. A little bit of volume coming in down here. We're right at this higher point of control-ish, right? We've got the point of control down here at 12, but this is 11 here, so it's pretty close to it. A lot of volume just came in on down there off that low. So nothing real too crazy. Like I said, I don't think we have an early trade here on yet, just because we've got that correction of overnight inventory. So overnight inventory hands typically tend to be weaker traders. Better odds that we just kind of wait for it to come down to that Globex point of control. If it doesn't make it to that Globex point of control, that's where that good odds come in above to trade back up through that A high, which I think is a mechanical high, and then target that overnight high. Really that 40.20 would be the target to the upside, but the patience here is going to be the key to see if we get a reaction off of yesterday's VPOC or the overnight point of control, which are pretty much lined up almost identical. Notice the tempo here on the way down. It's kind of fast, right? Breath is flipping. Yeah, the NYSE breath did flip. You're starting to see a little bit of slowing of tempo here down on the bottom, at least of volume, right? It's kind of making me think that a bounce is coming here. Just be careful. We didn't make it all the way down to that Globex point of control. So I want to see if they don't break this A low here, I might try a little bit of a long here. See if they pick it up. All right, filled on the long. Target that halfback 97 as the first one. Hey, Pop. What's up, man? It stops right below that A low. A lot of selling came in down here at this low. Yeah. Got me out. So let's see if we get a reaction off of that point of control. Right off the settle, that's a mechanical A low here. Pretty big move straight down overnight. So that's just, I mean, mostly just a correction of overnight inventory. Nice, cleaned up that A low. I think a break above that 93, we might be good looking again. Nasdaq is not looking as weak as the ES is. We can see the ES really just moved right back down to yesterday's close. Same thing with Apple kind of leading that way down. We saw that volume move down here to that 92. That's why I'm thinking if we get above that 93 level, you might see some of these momentum shorts start to capitulate. All right, watch this 93 here. If they pop the 93, you might see a bigger move to the upside, back looking probably towards that half back 90 or 05, excuse me. The bot got in a put. Look at AMD. Yeah, AMD's just selling off hard here. So they re-offer that 93 level here is what it's looking like.
Which level was that you were talking? Was that for AMD or were you talking about the ES?
I was talking about the ES.
Okay.
So right at that 93, if they don't keep offering this 93 level, there might be a little bit of a move. So they push it back down there. Not too bad here. Took it once ago. Looks like there's a buyer on the 90, guys. So just, it looks like right off of this, right above the point of control, or the point of control from yesterday, it looks like there's a buyer there. Paul counts, or put counts still coming in on AMD. Lecker, good morning. Yeah, AMD's getting back close to that 85 level. Yeah, I should have held those puts. AMD's just getting just absolutely torched here. But not trading with the market. Like I said, I think these chip makers might be sympathizing with some of the other players here from yesterday. Got the 24-hour view up at the 39.88 here, and then we're sitting right at half back where we expect some mechanical selling to come in. Got a weak spot up here at the 4,000. Naturally, as people are trying to buy above, they liquidated right on the 4,000. Surprise, surprise. So AMD really looking a lot weaker than the market. It's down about almost 2% here, but we've got Amazon looking green, trying to come back above its open from the day. Google doing okay, up about 1%. Meta up about 5%. Netflix up about 5%. Nice big move there. Let's watch this half back. A break above this half back, we're going to target this Globex high. So no trading on the 4,000, right? Not a bad way to start the day, huh? One loss and then one win right away. So got in a little bit early, got stopped out, real quick stop. Tried it again, then boom. Remember those meta calls I loaded up on yesterday? A lot of people thought I was nuts. Did you? I can't remember. I'm just kidding, bro. Yeah, that was good. I should have got Meta instead of Apple. I took Apple calls yesterday instead. What was is there news on Meta, or was it just that, you know, they just wanted to get that continuation to the upside? Back below that 4,000 level. Maybe, I don't know. I don't keep up with the news. I just saw it coming on the chart. Yeah, I mean, Meta's so oversold. Like, I mean, it's just look for buying off this half back. And remember that 93 level was kind of that key level for the pop, I think. I was trying to add right there on that 96 and didn't get filled. Nice. That was like the bottom of the last 6 months of value in addition to some other confluences. Yeah, I mean, it was just, if we even, especially if we look at it here, right? Let's look at Meta real quick. I mean, you can see, you know, it was just, I mean, boom, 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 you know, it was bound to happen, right? It was just which one were you going to get? I know James got a nice move off Meta as well. I think he's got a pretty long position in Meta. So still doing pretty decent here. I'm gonna move my stop to 99.50, even though I'm like almost done with stops. But there we go. See if we can break this half back high. Remember, it's a mechanical high. There it goes. It gets cleaned up. Target here is going to be that T2 low, Globex high here. Nice, nice, nice. Nice runner here. Perfect, 60 points on 2 contracts. Let's go. James going long, Lecker. Shit, yeah. Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm telling you, like, as people grow, right? Remember, James is fairly new at trading. But as people grow and they start reading the Jim Dalton books, they understand like the market doesn't just go one way, and so it helps them get out of their bias. And that's something I keep preaching. If you guys haven't read these books, read these books. And if you don't like reading, Jim Dalton just put out one on Audible. Not that it's not that I recommend listening to it on Audible, because it really has to go along with the watch for buying off this halfback. There it is. Not that Audible, or not that Audible is the best thing to do, but we can't improve ourselves if we don't try. You know what I mean? You're not just going to get better at trading by not putting in that work, right? Like, this isn't one of those, I mean, just think about everything that people are experts at, right? They don't just play the game, right? They practice. Right? Someone was saying that I think it was Pat Riley went into the gym and it was 3:00 in the morning and Kobe Bryant was in there fucking doing layups. And he's like, "Hey, Kobe, why are you doing layups? You're the greatest player in the world." And he looked at him and said, "Because I'm the greatest player in the world." Right? And that just it speaks so much volumes. I mean, I'm a big Kobe fan. I'm a bigger Shaq fan, but it's like, if you don't try to improve yourself, you're never going to improve. You can't just assume that you're going to get better just because you trade a bunch. Yeah, Nvidia is getting getting a smackarooski as well. Oh no, Nvidia is actually coming back a little bit, but yeah, they got smacked pre-market here, coming back above that put call level. A lot of big trades up here. 125 lots on the 1575, 1575, 171 lots. So failure to break the Globex high is going to show a bit of weakness, and we're looking probably to flatten this thing out if we don't break it here pretty soon. I've moved my stop up to the 11 now. Just have one lot left. Go, you dirty little bitch. Listen to Brad read them fucking books. Yeah, he's got a lot of webinars on YouTube. The thing is, the books are in order, right? Chronological. It's hard to learn sometimes when you just pick a spot and start, but the books are they're in order, right? They start from a certain spot and they end at a certain spot, and they're designed to help you grow. And they're long books, but if you want to make this serious thing, and it's just, it makes sense. Take a look at Apple here. Apple really kind of trying to gain, but having a little bit of struggles here, making me want to possibly take a piece of these calls off. They're only up 11%. Weak sauce. So failure to break that Globex high and get back up below that 50 SMA is weak. Just closed out that nice long. Good shit, bro. You closed out that Facebook trade. Got a call count in AMD. Might not be up day for the bot. I don't know. I mean, that's a weak. You might just be seeing a little bit of a relief rally, Uncle Stacy. Like, that's a weak reference right there. To me.
Yeah, it may be like yesterday where we had that C count and then it was just a fluke and then it pretty much just tanked all the rest of the day. I mean, it was like a dead cat bounce. I don't remember who said that yesterday, but and that may be what it was, or maybe what I'm seeing. But I always have to feel like that it's going to do potentially bad things, just because that way at least I'm emotionally vested. But I'm not the one playing, so I don't have to worry about my emotions affecting anything.
See if that's gonna break this time. Remember, we have the base of this distribution is right at that 40-20, which is the real target here to the upside, but just giving us some weakness and kind of making me stick out. And I took out my last trade already, so I don't have any skin in the game right now. So if it does take it out, it'll be without me, unless we get a nice move back down into the volume and possibly try another one here. Look how weak this spot is, though, this halfback from yesterday. Breath is starting to pick up here on the NASDAQ, volume coming in at the high, but the breath isn't really indicating trend yet. The NASDAQ trend looks strong, though. It looks like it wants to go. 288 on the top, 34 contracts straight on that high tick. Peter saying. Oh, my VLTA shares are up 9%. Come on, what are we doing here? Did your runner got back ticked 5 points in profit? That's not bad, 5 points. Not necessarily for intraday play. Oh, hang on, what'd you say? This is a decent spot to be long from Apple, in my opinion. They actually got long from Apple yesterday down in the gap. It went a little bit lower after I got long. Yeah, I mean, I do like this. I do like this area for Apple. It's just showing so much weakness here. It might just be time. What are my reasons for this long? So the reasons for the long here was it came down, and I actually tried 2 trades here. So it came down here, paused at that 93. I tried a long at that 93, got stopped out. I put it like right below, got stopped out for about, I think it was a 3 tick loss. Came back down below the settle. I ended up getting long 87 and 88 quarter, and then it popped up, got to that 93, bounced around a little bit. I added 3 more on the 93. It ran up, and I just took them off on the way up. Took most of them off around 99.50, 4,000. Took another one off at the 09.50, and then took another one off at the 13. The 13 one got back ticked, but I mean, really, it was just this move down was just a correction of overnight inventory. So what happens is a lot of times we get these moves that are, we know overnight inventory is long, but you got to think about this from a perspective of your normal or your classic retail trader, right? So if we're talking about just plain old retail traders, this is what they're seeing, right? They're just seeing this. And so originally this bar was red, right? Here's the open right here. This bar turns red, it pushes down. They're like, oh shit. So momentum traders start piling in. Well, we hit the settle. We stopped right at the settle. They cleaned up the settle, but didn't get any follow through, and they didn't take that Globex low. So as a pop up above that settle is kind of where I was like, okay, those are weak traders. Let's go. If we pop above the 93, I'm going to add, so we're going to get some more upside. We did. Kind of bounced around below that 4,000, hit the 4,000, even came back a little bit, and then we knew that this A high was a weak reference because it was sold off of yesterday's half back, which is a mechanical reference, a spot that, you know, shorter time frame traders or weak-handed traders typically sell off of, and that's pretty much the reason there. The Apple possibly coming down 153, 154. Yeah, there's another gap below on Apple as well. There was, yeah, there's a gap way down here at 121. There's a gap down here at 112. There's a gap down here at 100. There's another gap down at 77. Another gap at 62. I marked all the gaps on Apple because I'm going to buy it every time it goes into a gap. Build that long term. Feel me? Toss those in the IRA and then call it a day. So still didn't make that new high. I said weak. Let's see if they backfill this half back. If we see some backfilling here, there might be an opportunity to take a long. See if they hold it. You know, they should try to hold it above the open. If not, you know, Sabiske. Market will probably rotate back down to the volume, which is down there at the 93, where we saw a buyer step up down there. It really defended that 40-20 level pretty well, which is surprising and annoying at the same time. Longer term targets, Apple looks like 166, then 173. Yeah, and I'm just trying to trade these up to 163 for the gap above. 162.90, 163. Is that a fucking airplane? What is that noise? Oh, hang on, guys. My helicopter's here. I gotta go. I'm just kidding. Sounds like a helicopter's landing in my backyard. Yeah, Lecker, no problem, man. So look at that key right off that half, excuse me, half back right there, getting a little bit of a bounce. We got 3 minutes left, or 2 minutes left until the next period opens up. Let's see what they bring on here. Counts are starting to slow, 74 to 24. You can see a lot of the stuff has flipped green. We're not really seeing, you know, weighted sectors kind of tipping down a little bit, but for the most part, pretty balanced. Like I said, it's tough really to try to go long here, but just because, I mean, we are seeing the buying above that half back, and
IT is half of what it was at open though.
yeah.
I think it was 40 something cents or 50, roughly close to 50 cents into the 22. Now it's 12. So it's kind of bouncing around toward zero. AMD took a dip. At least a little bit of a dip anyway.
Yeah, there it goes. So back below the open, going to the session half back here. Right back on the 24-hour VWAP here at 41 or 4001. Pushes right through.
That second buy of the bot is exactly at the top. Like it's dead on to the top. That was amazing. And surprising to some degree, but just amazing.
Yeah, it's from Peter's options thing from the Shadow Trader website. You don't have to pay for it. It's just like when you get the subscription, you're given it. So B period sold off of today's halfback. That kind of makes me think that's mechanical. We're coming back to that 93 where the volume is. That's kind of, basically what we said. I didn't take a short, but, failure to break that high and hold halfback above the open typically brings us back to the volume, and the volume was 93 here. So big buy order coming through the tape, 159 lots, 95 quarter here. Still slow moving though. Yeah, we're seeing a little flip in the sectors here as well. Still inside yesterday's balance, looking to get accepted back inside yesterday's range here. Failed the first time, but now B period inside A period. So the market, for the most part, is balancing right now. Watch the 4,000 psychological level here. And remember that B high, I think, is a mechanical high, so you may see it get ran. We'll look to see some selling off the open. The IT sector is trying to pop back up here. Still below its open though. Look at Apple just trading below that 159 here. Another big buy order on the 39.99, 100 lots. Back at the VWAP. The VWAP is basically right at 4,000, right above 4,000. The 24-hour. Looks like buyers are trying to step up here, to be honest. Be careful. Yeah, I think that B high is going to go. Just watch for the selling off the open. We've got a very psychological number here, so we're seeing some selling off of the half back and off of the open. That looks like shorter time frame traders, but you may see selling off yesterday's half back, a little bit stronger move, and it's been kind of weak at that spot back and forth. So not able to break it. That's on that second check there. Another 40 points off that high. Bang. Have a good day. Nice. Good shit, Jason. You took the short. I didn't take the short. I'm just sitting here fucking twiddling my thumbs. Put counts in AMD 129 to 58. Yeah, AMD. AMD's looking weaker than everything else.
Apple was at like 0.9 earlier, and now it's down to 0.56, 57.
5.7, yeah.
So it's kind of,
It's weak. Yeah, it's still below its open as well.
more P counts coming in for AMD.
Yeah, and there's a bigger move down right there. A little bit of liquidation from those buyers trying to come in.
Oh,
They got trapped.
overalls are dropping. Overalls are almost even.
Still not a break of that 93 yet. Send an email real quick. Sorry guys, I gotta send this email real quick. So, one sec. All right, tech is coming down here pretty strong. Getting back to down to where that volume was at. A break of that volume, you're going to be looking to test this settle here. See if they've got the stones to push that thing down below. See that VPOC shift up around that 97.5 level. See, the breath is pretty balanced. Healthcare is coming back down to its open. Tech is catching a little bit of a bounce here. Consumer discretionary catching a little bit of a bounce. I reread those books. Oh, reread those books all the time. Yeah, I mean that's a good. They're a good read, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with rereading them. Like just because you've read them once doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be beneficial a second go.
Dang, talk about a battle. This thing is all over the place.
Yeah, so we'll see a lot of this as we're inside yesterday's range. I mean, even though yesterday we opened up inside yesterday's range and really just kind of sold off, we're seeing a lot of people try to. I mean, yesterday it just seemed like a lot of liquidation, so it didn't really seem like a lot of selling down in this range. A lot of the selling seemed like it was up higher, so you might just be seeing kind of that same idea.
The red line is open, right? The 401 or the 0163.
The open is this 404.
Oh, 4. So what's the red line?
The point of control.
Oh, okay.
The TPOC, time point of control.
Got it. Got it.
So there's that 93 level. They finally break it. A lot of volume down there, and they finally pushed below it. You can see the weak spot on the profile right here above like that 94. What level is that? It's like a 94 quarter or something. So look for them to hold it below that level. We saw volume shift down. They pushed it down. They broke that 93 level, which was the big level. Only 37 contracts trade on that low. Look for them to hold this level here, this 94 quarter. If not, probably get rotation back up into volume and probably go look to correct that half back. Remember, the market is balancing right now, right? We've got A high, A low, B high. So the market is balancing right now, trying to figure out what it wants to do. Miko, what's up, man? Is the volume profile in your Sierra chart custom or Sierra chart standard? I mean, it's it's not like an add-on or a paid. I just edited the colors. That's it, JB. I just changed the colors so it only has the 3 colors, pink, red, and white, and then the blue is just, you know, low. Pink is the volume point of control, red is the high volume, white is second high volume, and blue is you know, what do you call it, regular other volume. $24-hour VWAP's at the 4,000. There it is. So look at right back to that half back. This is a weak reference. So when they pop it, if they're able to pop it, this is going to be their second try to pop it. If they're able to pop it, look at the previous day's half back. See, so they didn't really get it. One tick is not really a cleanup. If they get it, look for this to fill in. Right, we see volume filling in. That's key for continuation above that 0550. Rejection of that level brings us back down to volume. So notice where value's at, right? Value's overlapping to higher as of right now, right? But for the most part, just overlapping. We've got excess on the low, excess on the high, a mechanical B high, a poor low, a poor high from Globex that are still not cleaned up. Back down, so not able to clean up that high. That's weak. The longer that we stay below it is just weak. Hey Brad, when you get a moment, can you look at the what I sent you on the Discord? Yeah, hang on a second, bro. Let me check. These 2 images, yours are mine. What can cause the difference between these 2 periods? It depends on your time settings. There's what it looks like. So if you go to chart settings and click on session times, I have mine 9:30 to 1600 and then 1601 to 9:29:59 rays. So that's probably what it is. You probably have to update your session times. If you're in a different time zone than me, then it probably needs to get changed. The volume's still moving down here. Nice move down. I should have thought about it, but didn't do it. Counts are still moving down. AMD is trying to move back down. Apple's trying to come down here. You can see tech picked up almost 0.5. Consumer discretionary really getting pushed down here. Industrials, I mean, a lot of stuff is coming down here. Now we've got a poor low on today's session. The Acme one, I think it's pretty accurate. I mean, it's all gonna be. It's not really gonna be based upon the indicator. It's gonna be based upon the data. So break of the A low. You're gonna look for that Globex low for these another weak move. Tempo gets slow at the low. So watch the rebound here, right? So a rebound that would tell us that this move down is weak would be a pushback into that 94, kind of just like how we had last time, right? That it came down close to the low, pushed back up above that 94, and then failed again at that half back. So you've got weak-handed traders on both sides today. Let me take a peek at the volume. Crypto Mojo, good morning. Volume is actually 15% more than it was yesterday, so some pretty decent volume here. So here you go, rotation back to value. Look, if sellers are serious and they want to sell, they're going to have to move down and fill in some of these weak spots here. A rotation back to the 94 kind of shows a little bit of weakness from sellers. Morning, Kevin. Yeah, Jason, it just really, I mean, I think it really just matters for where you're getting the data from, but I honestly don't think it matters, like, you know, like let's say mine says 470 on the low tick, right? And yours says 450. I don't think that matters at all, right? That's trying to be too exact. And maybe it matters if you're trading ticks, like if you're scalping, then maybe it matters a little bit more. But for me, that's not what I'm doing, so it doesn't affect me. Honestly, I haven't even had the volume on for so long. I just turned it on due to popular demand. So now P counts in AMD yet again.
This is the fourth time they've come in the opposite direction.
Oh, you're getting call counts and put counts back and forth?
Yeah, it opened and it was getting put counts on multiple candles, and then it switched over and I was getting call counts on multiple candles. Then it switched back and it was getting put counts on multiple candles, and then it did call counts on multiple candles, and now I'm back to put counts on multiple candles. Which is not, I'll say that it's pretty uncommon to get that much turnaround in the first 30 minutes. Well, first 45 minutes. It's not, it's atypical.
So another push lower, and yet the market bouncing back up again here to the 94. Again, weakness from sellers. You had a buyer come in at the 85.50, 105 lots. Oh, we didn't know who it is though. So sellers need to get busy here and backfill this area. If they fail to hold this thing, this 94 area, which has been weak, and the buyers will look to try to take their stops, which are right at that B high right now. Looks like we're seeing a little bit of short covering here on this 94. Tick is mostly above zero, showing buyer strength here in the overall market, but we've got the weighted sector, or the weighted AD, for the most part, still moving lower. So conflicting information pretty much all over, right? The algo's fucking confused, the market's confused, everyone's confused today. Best thing to do when the market's doing stuff like this is just be patient. Just let the market work itself out, right? We don't need to be in a trade. You know, we caught a decent trade early off of the move lower and a nice pop up, but since then just been sitting here. Yeah, I think so too. This too. Yeah, I think so. I think so too. It's last day of the month, you know? Not a day really to get short, and the bouncing off of these lows that we're seeing, it just kind of makes me think that, you know, we're just getting yeah, donations. That's a good way to put it. Divergence everywhere. What are you tracking the divergence with, Jason? Yeah, I mean, well, we've got weakness on both sides for sure. There's weakness at the highs as well. Failure to break that overnight point of control or overnight high was our first key sign that weakness, and that A high is mechanical, right? It's right at the T2 low. We've got a mechanical high, which is a weak high. Failure to break the Globex high shows weakness. B high, weak, and now we have a poor low. So the market's just weak all over. And so the best thing to do in this situation, like I said, is just sit here, be patient, let the market decide. It doesn't want to break lower, it doesn't want to break higher, and then we can determine, you know, if it's going to have strength and go with it, or if it's going to have weakness, and we'll just trade it back into the mean. Not really that I'm not really a huge fan of mean reversion trades, but sometimes, you know, sometimes they're necessary. So they backfilled that 94 level pretty decently. Look at the volume that came in on that 94. Remember, that was the weak spot of the profile. It moved up there. They backfilled it pretty strongly. So it looks like they'll probably get the low this time. If they don't get the low this time, who knows what the fuck they're gonna do. Yeah. Back to the settle. See if they can take the low. They can clean up the low here. And if they don't take that Globex low, there might be some opportunity. So if they tap the low that time, tap it again. Fucking Happy Gilmore in here. Just tap it in. Yeah, the tick is confused as well. Doesn't know if it wants to go up or down. The breath is positive. Barely. You know, red on the NYSE, just barely, and then positive barely on the NASDAQ. And remember, it's based off of the breath is based off of yesterday's close. So you're seeing like Apple technically is green, right? It's up 0.32, but here's the open on Apple 160, the close from yesterday 158. So that's why Apple technically is green, right? So it's still, to me, the market is looking, I mean, it's looking like I don't want to play. You know what I mean? It's looking like today's just one of those days where, you know, I'll just sit out for a little while and see what we're gonna get, because it's confused. Going Audi, oh, going silent. Okay. Yeah, it's based on the previous day. The breadth is based on the previous day. Yeah. So the sectors are based off of today, are based off of the open, but the breadth is based off of the previous day. So like if we look, right, AMD's open and then AMD's close. So here's the close. It opened below its close. Amazon is red because it's below its close, but here was its open today. Right, Google is green, but it's below its open. So here's its open, but it's based off of the close, so it's coming down. Meta's actually looking strong. So Meta's going to be the ticket today, I think. Let's watch this. Let's hold here and let's create an alert. If Meta breaks below this, we want to make sure that we don't be in a long. Microsoft is still below its open, but technically green because it's below its, or above its close. Netflix actually looks really strong here. Here's the close, here's the open. So we'll go ahead and put an alert here. The triple Q is this, right? Below its open, but still technically above its close. So technically still green, right? DNX isn't really doing shit. The dollar, oh fuck, dollar's coming down a little bit, coming back down to its open. So that's, you know, typically good for the market. Tesla back down below yesterday's close, but didn't get back down below that initial push low. So we'll watch this low here. Create an alert, at or below. Right. Watch Apple's coming down. Nice, Dad. Good shit. Done for the day. 1,100 bucks. Not even an hour in. So we're back at this 93 level. This 93 level has been really key. You can see some more selling there. I've got a bunch of 916, 292.5 calls on Tesla. Tempo's starting to pick up to the downside here. But doesn't break. Yeah, I don't know. Today's just one of those days where you just got to be patient, guys. That's it. Patience is really getting tested. I don't know how many times I've almost clicked on my DOM and then I'm like, okay, no. Be careful. This is why it's important to have a fidget spinner so we can stay patient. So there's a break of the low finally, so they clean up the low. Now, what we want to see if we're going to get continuation is a push below that Globex low with some volume moving down here below yesterday's settle. Rhea said yes. Unweighted looking below the zero. Yep. C period opens up. We've got one single print above. Got those oil inventories about to pop out here too. Let me pull up investing.com and see what they're coming in at. Oil inventories, 3 million more in production. So they're still producing more oil. So that's actually kind of bullish for the oil. Oil is still getting clapped though, down about 1% today. OFC. Picture can change fast. What's OFC? Oh, but I think the probability to keep making it feel like the bottom is about to drop out, but not letting it truly fall out, which we'll see. What's OFC? Market's just right on its settle here. Oh, of course, my bad. Boomer Brad. Yeah, I don't know. OFC. Oh, you got it fixed, Reyes? Good shit. Good shit. So we're hanging out down here. Now value is, just overlapping for the most part, right? Not really overlapping to higher. And we're right at that point of control from yesterday. Spending some time in yesterday's value, typically means that they'll look to target that Globex or that value area low, but they've got to break this Globex low, and the market just looks, it doesn't look like it has the oomph to really move, right? We saw that in A period, didn't have the oomph to make it past the B, or past the Globex point of control. Fuck, the Globex high, I mean. And but now we're starting to spend some time down here, so it might have some opportunity. See if they can get it. C period breaks B period, that would put us down one time framing lower here. It looks like it's going to. Another poor low here. There it goes. Well, they've got to break this Globex low. If they don't break this Globex low, that's going to show a little bit of weakness. And remember, these are the levels below that I'm looking at. 54, 29, and 13. If we get a break of the previous day's low, right? Naturally. I'm not going to just close my eyes and sell. Oh shit, we're getting invaded. So back above the settle there. So kind of a little bit of a rebound here, but nothing really too crazy. What's good? Thanks for your contribution to this conversation. Yeah, they just want you to know, bro. The best ads. So nothing really on the docket for the rest of the day. I mean, we've got some crude oil stuff, some EIA, some gas production, heating oil stockpiles that just came out, but nothing really else US wise until tonight at 18:30 Eastern time from Fed Bostic. So there might be some opportunity in Globex tonight with Fed Bostic. I think it's a she. I don't know, it's Raphael Bostic. Is that's the Atlanta guy, right? Yeah. Um he's not really bearish for the most part. So back to that 93 level, still finding some resistance. Watch to see any backfilling of this area. Sellers get a second opportunity to sell here after getting this one time framing down. And remember, so this would be that opportunity to understand this early cessation of one time framing. So should the market take that B high, that would, for the most part, give us an indication or an early cessation of one time framing, telling us that the market's going to be fairly rotational for the rest of the day. more selling off that 93. And if I would say a little Peter Resnicek action here, I would say this is a taper. We got weakness because we didn't break the Globex low. Back to volume, 93. Taper?
Yeah.
So like imagine a haircut, right? So
okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Overlapping.
Right, like just slowly increasing on the way up. Right? It's not like here on the upside where we see
But that's not like a half pipe. It's
like, so this, right? This is like, and then goes like this, right?
oh, I see. Oh, I see what you're talking about. You're talking about it gradually gets more and more.
More and more.
Okay. More and more. All
like,
right.
Like it tapers up.
Okay.
And what that's showing us is that sellers are not really willing to move down as aggressively down towards the lows yet. Not that they're not going to, but just, you know, there is a taper on the low right here. So what we'd want to see if we're going to continue getting this low is we want to see a seller pop down in here and boost one of these levels up. So we want to see volume come in, heavy volume come in. So there's the break. See if they're going to get this continuation. Break of the Globex low, you'll probably see some stops. So look at the volume we got at that low there. Look, so now there goes the taper. So there's some actual selling down there. There was some selling, but failure to break that is, I mean, it's just so fucking weak. Earlier this morning, the market's haircut was looking more like a lot of these kids rolling around with buzz sides and a long ass top. Apple coming back down to its close from yesterday, catching a bit of a bounce, but not really. You can see pretty much all of the sectors besides energy are red. And another rotation back to the upside. So we can assume at that 81, that volume that came in might have been short covering. So on a second test of it, we should see buyers step up above it. If it gets below it, that's where we'll probably see it get broken. Over here, we call that haircut the short back in Slovakian. The short back. My hair, the side of my hair is short, but it's tapered up like from the sideburns, and then I slick my hair back, like the Fury haircut, just not like a skin on the sides. Pretty big move up there. Watch the 93 level again. If that 93 gives, they'll look to target. Remember, the B high was at the previous halfback. We extended the range, so the halfback is here at 98.50 now, but the B high was still mechanical. It's right at the A halfback as well, but you know, that's something to carry forward, because as the profile develops, you've got to think about these kind of things, right? Okay, so you know, was there strength selling on that B high, and you're looking, you know, a lot of people are looking at a bar chart. Pull over to the ES, right? And they're like, oh, I'm gonna sell here where it failed before, and that's, you know, that's that 94, that's that C high. But you look at that B high, which is right around that 4,000, and remember, we know that it was the half back, so the odds of it holding are just not as high. Fury was a badass war movie. Fuck yeah, it was. Number one sided on top. Currently sporting the short back of the lock. Number one side and on top. In the army, they call it one of these haircuts the high and tight, and I swear it's like you go into the barber, you just put your hand on top of your head, and you just tell them shave everything else, and that's what it looks like. No taper, nothing, just fucking just shaved up. It looks dumb as fuck. A lot of sergeant majors have it. Stupid fucking haircut. Watch this 93 level. This has been a competition level throughout the day today. The tick is getting above zero here. Where's Apple at? Apple bounced off of its previous day's close here. You're seeing the weighted sector start to catch a little bit of steam here. There's that Paparuski. Remember that B high is weak. We know that. We know this. Right to the VWAP, the 24-hour VWAP's down here 98 now. So let's see if they're going to break it this time. They sold it right off the VWAP last time. Look to see if they'll break it this time. Counts are even. I seen the new Top Gun last night. Oh, was it badass, TJ? I gotta fucking watch it, bro. I gotta watch it. A lot of money flowing on the exchange. That reminds me, let me text my father-in-law. We were gonna watch it. Back to this 93 level. It's just been such a key level today. And right here, this is key. So we're one time framing lower, but what I want you to think about is developing value. So yesterday we talked about how sometimes we get fixated on just single points of reference, right, or one data point. What I want to key in on here is, we've got 13 minutes. If D period opens up in 13 minutes, what will it do to move value, right? So we have 3 TPOs in the middle. What would have to happen to move value up? What would have to happen to move value down? And what are the probabilities, right? Well, if we think about it, we still have very high probabilities that the low gets broken and the high gets broken because they're both weak, right? And then from there, we just kind of decide which one's closer, right? Well, right, as of right now, the C period just traded off the half back again. So we're seeing sellers continuously move down and sell the half back, right? Half back for B was at that 4,002 level. Now half back's at 39.9850, and the C high is right at that half back. So we've got another weak reference above. We're really close to it. The odds are that it gets broken. Strength would be immediately taking that B high after the C high moves up. Weakness would be a failure to take that C high and would start to put that C low in perspective after we get back down below the settle, because the C low is also at a weak reference point sitting one tick above the Globex low. That also happens when they're springing up to push down. So we'll wait and see. Yep, wait and see. That's the thing is, it's days like this that really test your patience. Trend days really fuck people up because they get in an early trade and they just, they have a tough time just cutting a loser. But rotational days can chop up people just as bad because they're just impatient and they feel like, oh, I want to, especially when it's a day after a trend day, because they feel, they're still, the emotions are still fresh from yesterday, right? The wounds are still open. And so it's just like, feel like it's going to happen again. We talked about it yesterday. How many times have you had your trade plan, you take a trade, it gets cut, gets stopped out. And so immediately you abandon your trade plan and go the other way. It's just psychology. Right back to the VWAP here at that 39.97. So they pop it. That still don't get that 98.50 though. Let's see. They get it by one tick. So people still selling, weak-handed sellers selling the half back. So there's the break. Like I said, we should see it immediately take that B high if there's strength. 10 minutes left. It doesn't take it. It trades back to that half back. So not a ton of strength there. That C high trades right to the B open. So more mechanical levels getting put in. Classic. I have a website to watch Top Gun if you want. You want me to break the law, Austin? No, I bought it on Amazon. I've just only heard good things about it, so. For sure, it's an old market maker standby to advertise for further big moves, then just chill or rotate for a long ass time to piss everyone off, make them sweat, and start second guessing. These algos are evil geniuses. 31.34. So healthcare is actually back above its open. Healthcare is looking a little bit strong here. Financials trying to make a comeback. So really just a mixed bag, you know, overall. Another move down. So look, it didn't break that B high. That's kind of what we were talking about. The bot's out of the put. Psychological torturing for most traders. Yeah, it's just because most people are not willing to just stay patient and let the market decide, right? A lot of times we feel like we almost have to be in a trade when in reality we don't have to. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. My bad. Laundry day, so I gotta change it over real quick. A psychological torturing. Pop said, what do you say? That's been your problem for the last week. I'm feeling financial pressure, so I've been feeling like I have to trade and make some money right now. Yeah, that's a tough situation, you know, and could be, I mean, it can be detrimental big time. You know, that's kind of what I've been trying to help one of my friends with, is they're kind of in that same situation. You know what I mean? Is like they feel like they have to make money right now, and so they're just over trading or feeling like they've just got to, you know, force their way into some of these trades, and it can be, you know, it can be damaging to not only your account but to your psychology as well. Bot sold 852 up for the day. Yeah, AMD, I mean, AMD's got punished today compared to the rest of the market. Right, even Nvidia got punished as well, and that's, like I said, I think this is on the back of these that Taiwan news. The chip makers really, can't believe I sold those puts yesterday like a little bitch. Fucking. But you know, that Taiwan news of Taiwan actually shooting some live ammunition for the first time ever is, it's, you know, it's no joke. That's big news for them. So a lot of selling come in on this 89 level here, right around the settle. Those Apple calls are back to red. So a lot of selling came in that 89. Let's see if they've got the stones to keep pushing this thing down. Remember, the ticket here is that 81. Watch the 81 for that reaction. That's where the shorts started to cover last time. So if they can't even make it back down to that 81, there's opportunity here to try a possible long with a nice tight stop. D period opens up. Remember, this is what we talked about. What would it take to move value lower? Well, look what D's opening up. We had 3 TPOs here. Now we have 4 TPOs here. So now we're starting to see value shift below yesterday's point of control. Right? If D rotates up, then it's still overlapping. But if D isn't able to rotate up, that tells us something. D high mechanical right off the settle. Gotten much better at waiting. The tricky part for me is realizing the market has decided which way, and I'm still waiting to see if it's actually going to go or not. Yeah, so it sounds like you have your psychology on lock, and now the tough part is execution. So the best way to work on your execution, I think, is to use replay. Especially if you're on NinjaTrader, replay is super easy to use. I think that's one of the best ways to do it, is to use replay. All right, Crypto Mojo, we'll see you later, man. Have a good day. I do Uber Eats part-time. Does help to have some income in your, right? Cash losing momentum. Yeah, we're starting to see the weighted sectors roll over. You're starting to see the NASDAQ turn red as well. A lot of the sectors have flipped red, and the triple Q's coming back down towards that 300 yesterday, which was a pretty key level yesterday. There goes the low by 1 tick. There it goes. So watch to see for continuation here. That value area low is going to be their first target, 39.72. Starting to see volume come down. Notice how volume comes down, it ticks back up and then comes right back. Didn't hit that low tick. My phone's blowing up right now. Hang on, let me look at Twitter. Oh no, that was just Meta. Meta just broke that level. That level that we talked about earlier where we said we didn't want to be getting long if it broke. Monthly close in a few hours, some action on price, dump or pump. I kind of think a little bit of balance. Right now it's looking pretty bearish. It's looking like the buyers are pretty weak. Right? It's looking like looking like more liquidation again. Right? If we zoom this out a little bit, we see that yesterday looked like a liquidation, B profile, right? And we're kind of, at a B profile with mechanical references above here. Even the D high is mechanical as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3 mechanical references. Remember something Jim Dalton always says, the mechanical references are less important when they're with the trend, right? And the trend is down, right? There's no real argument about that. Long-term trend is what I'm talking about here. ESA, right? Long-term trend is down. Even, every trend right now is down, weekly, daily. We're all down. I think you're seeing a lot of people want to buy the market typically just because of what's happened most recently. Apple's coming back down close to that gap now. A little bit of buying right there on the 80, it looks like. See if they can push it. I still don't have a trade on, just so in case you're wondering. I'm just uncertain today, you know what I mean? So it's for days like this, I just stay out, there's no there's no forcing for me. I'm just patient. Much as I like this area as an opportunity to maybe get us a nice fade back into the mean, but I just am not confident in any upside at all right now, especially with the tick hitting the lows. You're seeing the triple Q start to dump. All of the sectors are pretty much red except energy. Value area lows at 72, which is their target here. 0 and 31 now. AMD's continuing down. AMD's next level is that 80. That 85 was just that unwind level. I should have been patient and waited one more day. Getting invaded again by bots. Yeah. I mean, it made sense. Yeah, I mean, take profit while you can, but it did. I mean, there was real no indication, right? Like if we look at AMD, um, there was no indication that I should have dumped those puts, right? Obviously, we're just making lower highs. It's just I'm just so used to day trading that it's tough for me to hold on to stuff a little bit longer term unless it's the actual stock itself. A lot of times. You're starting to see the breath pick up here. Look at 172 to 138. Tick is down here looking oversold. Hopefully you guys got on this train. I missed it. I didn't take any shorts. I didn't take any longs either, so that's good. But watch this 72 level. That's going to be their target here, this value area low. You know better than anyone. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, 2 weeks ago, I had some issues with my trading. I was cutting trades too quick, cutting my winners too quick, and letting my uh letting my losers carry on a little bit too much. So it's not like, it's not like, oh, once you've got this game figured out, you can just be good all the time. It's just you got to keep continuing to try to improve. And if something does start to give you those hesitations or something starts to affect your trading, you've got to try to dig deep down and figure out what it is. And I wish I had like an end all be all, like, okay, this is the ticket here, you just do this and then everything will work. But it's just, doesn't work out like that. Always refine your model. Exactly. So we're seeing a pretty decent bounce off that 72 level. I actually took one lot long. Put my stop at 74. Take a little 2-pointer. Yeah, that's true. Lack of refining your models will definitely eventually put you, into that point where, sometimes you're just gonna be like, oh, this worked last time, I'm just gonna keep doing it, right? And then what's the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing that hasn't been working. I've been trying to tell that to one of my buddies, but he's tough to listen. I've started swinging positions for several days, a couple of weeks, exponentially more than intraday trade anymore. Yeah, and I'm just, I used to trade only options before I got into futures, and I was mostly weekly trading, right? I would do a lot of day trades and a lot of weekly trades, but I wasn't really swinging anything more than a week. But yeah, I mean, AMD just seemed like, I mean, it did bounce after I sold the puts, right? It bounced, but I guess I had a lot of time on them. That's the thing. I had them until September. And the worst part is that I nailed the entry. That's the worst part about cutting a trade early, is when you get the perfect entry. You know, like sometimes you hit that perfect entry and then you cut the trade, and it's like, and then it becomes like, well, fuck, you know, I want to get in, but I want to get in from where I was in. Yeah, it happens to everybody. Visual trader, he closed the YM short 225 points on double bottom. Nice, good shit, bro. On the Dow, you said? Yeah, the Dow's actually not down as much as the ES or the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's leading the way down 0.42. ES is down 0.36. The Dow's only down 0.28. If NQ breaks 12,259, my current guess for the swing low would be 12,01. Then that doesn't hold. That should theoretically be a local bottom, but as always, anything can happen in these markets. That's true. That is true. The breath is cooling off here a little bit, and you're seeing the tick finally get back above the 0 level here. So you've got that weak spot on the profile up on 79. So as long as the market stays below this 79, or even on a retest of this 79, we should see sellers move down and backfill this area, because now we're seeing, you know, the taper that we had disappeared, right? Got that liquidation, volume moved in, the market moved lower. So if there is a rebound, you should see sellers move down, backfill this, and then get that continuation. Counts are 17 to 72. Meta's coming down pretty hard here. Netflix back to its open. DLT back to its open. Or back to its close from yesterday. CNX is trying to rise. The dollar is still coming down here, but has been ticking up for the past past half hour. Oil's, just kind of balancing, not really doing much. But the energy sector is the only green sector here in the market. Well, utilities just barely, but Apple coming back up to its yesterday's close. Yeah, Exxon is up 3%. So watch to see if they backfill this area. A run through this area, just shows a little bit of sellers unwilling to show down here, and this may have been a bit of responsive buying. We'll see. Ripped right through it. Watch to see if their selling comes in here. There it is. Starting to see some volume increase right here. Pretty decent buying right there on the 82. And they cover it right away. So some scalpers on that 82. AMD is bouncing a little bit. Oh yeah, it is. I'm watching this weak spot right here at this 82, or excuse me, 79.50, and it looked like buying came in on the 82. You see it turned blue right there, dark blue compared to light blue. Weak spot above here in D session. Remember the D high is mechanical, C high mechanical, B high mechanical, but we also are one time framing lower. And value is overlapping. So really just the market's still, the market's still inside yesterday's range, big range from yesterday as well, but balancing for the most part. So 82 again, looking like a big level. Hesitated on the way down at 82, broke lower, and now hesitating on the way up at 82. ETH 2.0 merge begins September 6th. This could be a good trade here. Yeah, let's take a peek at some crypto. Would you say it starts on September 6th? Counter 0 and 92 now. Unweighted and weighted sectors still all crisscross. The Mac Daddy make you. Some were still likely flying out. Where's the volume profile? Which one's indicators? This one? There we go. ETH has kind of looked a little bit weaker than ETH has kind of looked a little bit weaker than Bitcoin lately, to be honest. So that gap up above. Yeah, that looks like the big key right there is that 1800 level on ETH. Above 1800, I think you could really start to see it climb. If we zoom this thing out and get this full profile, you can see it's kind of a weak spot. A little bit of volume came in on the downside there, but a big move above that 1800 could put that 2000 back into play. ETH should be weaker than BTC at the moment. BTC dominance is way too low to stay there forever. Still some sellers front running that settle D high, it looked like right there. Back to the 82 here. The good trade could also be a short. Yeah, you're right. Especially if the market continues to go down and you see like the risk off. Novice trader, hi, quick question. How did you get collapsed profile and then split profile? For me, getting split profile and then collapsed profile. What program are you using? Novice, are you using Sierra charts? I don't know if there's a way to change it. You're on Sierra? Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to change it. Here's my settings for it. Settings. I think it's at the bottom. Show chart value. For profile, standard column profile on the left. Default column display style for all profiles is standard profile. So you might go, if I go like this, click apply. No, it still does that. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so that's the setting. That's where it switched. Oops. So go to your studies. E period's opening up here. Click on your settings, go all the way down to the bottom, and then where it says fuck, now I lost it. Oh, it's the wrong one. That's the right one. Now nothing's happening for me. Ah. Uh-oh, now I ruined mine. Oh, maybe I didn't click apply, that's why. So E period's breaking lower here. Breaking down right from that 82 here. Looks like the bot picked the bottom again, or at least told us that the bounce was going to be a decent bounce. Yeah, it's definitely slowing. Like the tempo is slowing down to the downside, right? The D period did bounce a pretty decent amount after getting sold off from a mechanical level. I fixed it, yeah. President Biden spoke on the phone with Israel Prime Minister Lapid about a nuclear deal with Iran and stressed his commitment to Israel's security. So watch this 82 level. E period opened up right at that pretty much 82. Popped above it or popped right to it here. What the fuck is going on here? Broke my fucking TPO again. Oh god. Pretty decent sized bounce here. Remember the D high is mechanical. This is the thing. We're one time framing lower, but we've just got to be understanding that there is an opportunity for shorts to cover with that, with all these mechanical references above. Oh, shit, we're getting invaded again. God damn it. I don't know like how many times I have to block this person. They keep coming back and just trying to post nudes on our channels here. Ooh. Some big buy orders came through on the 82. 200 lots and 163 lots there. Watch this settle. 87.50 is a mechanical reference. Break above that could bring out some stops to the upside and it would be a cessation of one time framing. Not necessarily, it's tough to call if it's early. I mean, it's not noon, so. Oh, my Xfinity tech is on his way here. Once my Xfinity guy gets here, I'm gonna have to call the stream, guys, so. Oh, they're here. My Xfinity guy's here, guys. I don't know how to fix the profile though. It's fucked. Sure, I'll figure it out. Notice the tempo picking up to the upside as the market's moving up, right? So it could be an indication of these shorts just getting scared and covering. We're seeing still the E high is not breaking that settle yet. A break of that D high, which it almost looks inevitable at this point, is not necessarily happening yet. And it's, I mean, just showing, if it doesn't break, it's just showing big time weakness from the buyers. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, I just had to fuck around with it a little bit to try to get my shit together. All right, guys. Well, I know E period just started, but my I don't think I can hear you guys either. Oh yeah, probably not, TJ. Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe my headphones are not working. Yeah, the my internet guy just got here, so I'm gonna have to end the stream here. But thank you for tuning in, everyone. I'll give some updates in the Discord. Sorry that we had to end it early. I wasn't sure what time he was going to be here. They said in between 11 and 1. So, yeah. But I'll jump in the TPO chat after he leaves because I got nothing going on today. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure that you're managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And I will catch you all later.